Chapter 1969. Lu Qi didn't say anything. He couldn't offend the dignity of the celestial realm's origin. In other words, even if all the worlds are destroyed and fallen, the 9 realms are still stable. So, he's not fighting for himself, but for the human race and the 100 races. As for the title of human emperor, you know that he doesn't care about it. He doesn't care about the title of divine emperor either. He's the best at being selfless, the celestial realm's origin said. That means that the celestial realm owes him, King Yawu said. You all know what to do. We've reached a consensus, but a consensus is still a consensus. It's easy to change. Some of the pests of the celestial realm can't be protected. He can kill them if he wants, but we can't make him unhappy, the celestial realm's origin said and left. The city lord and the others looked at each other. Some things were beyond their understanding. What did the celestial realm's origin mean? It meant that Night Sorrow couldn't be offended. If something happened in the celestial realm, Night Sorrow could just leave. The unlucky ones were the local cultivators of the celestial realm who couldn't leave. In the end, it made it clear that Night Sorrow could kill whoever he wanted, and there was no need to protect or make Night Sorrow unhappy. This guy doesn't even want the title of human emperor. What does he want? Lu Qi said with some hesitation. He's the deluxe merit emperor. He's always been a righteous man. So, the fame that others can only dream of is a shackle to him, the city lord said. I've seen many cultivators in the past. The human race, the 100 races, and even the demon-winged clan, I don't think anyone is more difficult to deal with than him. The Grand Elder shook his head. Not really. Night Sorrow has a good heart. Treating him with sincerity is the best way. Maybe he knows some things better than we do. He's the Realm Lord, and the Realm Lord of the embryonic form of the sovereign world. So, don't scheme. Just do what needs to be done, King Yawu said. Yawu, you're right. We need to be more sincere. However, apart from the banishment last time, we didn't do anything to upset him. The mayor smiled. Night Sorrow's mansion. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow stood up. Next, his body trembled and a doppelganger appeared. When the celestial realm's origin investigated Night Sorrow's body, some of the energy was absorbed by Night Sorrow's doppelganger. The doppelganger recovered for a while and was fine. This is good. While the main body cultivates, the clone can also handle some matters. Night Sorrow was very happy. With the Avatar awakening, it could be said that the negative damage caused by the Black Lotus of Destruction had completely disappeared, leaving only benefits. Night Sorrow's doppelganger had awakened. The other members of the Humanitarian League were also very happy. What did a doppelganger mean? It meant one more life. During a battle, the existence of a clone could avoid many risks, even the risk of death. Of course, the Emperor's Tribulation and Emperor's Tribulation could only be withstood by the true body. Very good. Now, the Black Lotus of Destruction's influence on you is completely gone, Pu Luo said with a smile. Night Sorrow, after waking up, your wives are still as beautiful as flowers. They're all the undying king and your son has become an emperor. How does it feel? Yu Zhu asked with a smile. It's indescribable. You guys don't understand a life without memories. I know it's home, I know it's my wife, but I still feel that something is wrong, Night Sorrow said. Without experiencing it, you have no right to speak. Fortunately, you've recovered everything, the great demon king said. Then, Night Sorrow told everyone his decision. His main body would cultivate in Tianhuang City while his doppelganger would go to the Ethereal Dynasty. In the future, the focus of our Humanitarian League will be on the Ethereal Dynasty. It will become another center of chaos outside of Tianhuang City, the Great Demon King said. The Great Demon King is right. The entrance to the Nine Zones world is in the Ethereal Dynasty. The Nine Zones world is a key point in the battle between Tianhuang and the Celestial Realm. In addition, Mo Tianji's main body is in the Nine Zones world. Attacking the Nine Zones world should be one of the Demon Wing's main plans, Night Sorrow analyzed after the great demon king's words. Then it's settled. Your Night Moon Villa will be our stronghold. Also, Night Moon Villa can't be the same teleportation formation from Night Moon Villa to Night Moon City. This way, even if the teleportation formation is destroyed by a sneak attack, we can fight at any time and won't be caught off guard, Puluo said. Okay, I'll take care of it. Later, I'll invite you to my house to be my guests. I'll show you a different culture, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Finally, I've been waiting for your invitation. It's not easy, Yu Zhu said happily. Many people knew about the Nine Zones world, not to mention the few people from the Humanitarian League. However, it was difficult to go to the Nine Zones world. Unless Night Sorrow invited or agreed to it, no one could go. Currently, the only people from the celestial realm who could go were those from the ethereal dynasty. How should I put it? It's not that I don't trust anyone, but I can't gamble with the lives of the Nine Zones world. If an expert with evil intentions goes there, I won't be able to defeat him. The Nine Zones world will fall. It's too big of a deal, Night Sorrow said. So you're saying that if we go to the Nine Zones world to cause trouble, you'll be able to deal with us? Fen Tian asked. Let's not talk about the celestial realm. In the Nine Zones world, I'm the realm master. I can use the origin of the Nine Zones world and control the energy of the Nine Zones world. You know what I mean, Night Sorrow said with a smile. In the past, you didn't allow anyone to go. In the future, if you want someone to go, they have to be brave enough to go. If you don't like them, you'll kill them. You're the boss of your territory. Yu Zhu said. So, are you going? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. Of course, why wouldn't I go? You're the virtuous monarch. We'll be afraid of anyone but you. Yu Zhu glanced at Night Sorrow. The virtuous monarch was blessed by the heavenly law. It was also a guarantee to others because the virtuous monarch wouldn't do anything that went against his morals. Then, let's go and see the legendary Nine Zones world. The great demon king stood up. He was also interested. He had a realm under his command. He was the realm master, but he wasn't the realm master. After the few of them stood up, they went to the teleportation array and started the teleportation. However, it was Night Sorrow's doppelganger that led them. His original body stayed behind to cultivate. After arriving at the Ethereal Empire's Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow set up another teleportation array. The teleportation array was connected to the teleportation array in the Ethereal Empire's Imperial City and then to Star Moon City. The new teleportation array was hidden. It was a backup strategic teleportation array. Alliance Master, I thought of something else. According to what you said, you're almost invincible in the Nine Zones world. Then, you can relax the defense of Star Moon City and let them enter the Nine Zones world. Then, you can lock them in and beat them up. How safe would that be? Yu Zhu said. I've thought about what you said, but I have a different idea. Night Sorrow shook his head. Chapter 1970. Night Sorrow then expressed his thoughts. Night Sorrow wanted to conquer the celestial realm and lead the nine-domain world to develop. Therefore, the living beings of the nine-domain world had no obligation to take risks with him, let alone bear the flames of war. Night Sorrow didn't want the nine-domain world to bear any war. Understood. We can understand your thoughts. The nine-domain world is your root. Naturally, you can't let others invade it so easily. We will fight with the demon-winged clan in Star Moon City. Of course, the prerequisite is that they dare to come, Pu Luo said. After listening to Night Sorrow's explanation, not only Pu Luo, but everyone else could understand. Night Sorrow then led the group to the Twilight Tea House for tea. This was a must for everyone in the Ethereal Dynasty. The Twilight Tea House was very famous. Many cultivators far away from the Ethereal Dynasty would come to the Twilight Tea House at least once. It could be said that the Twilight Tea House was a signature of the celestial realm. It was the pinnacle of the tea ceremony. I love tea. I haven't paid the bill yet. Come, bring me good tea and snacks, the great demon king shouted after entering the twilight tea house. It was inappropriate, but this was the great demon king's character. How tasteless. Shame on you. A cold snort came from a private room. The great demon king was stunned. He didn't say anything and followed Night Sorrow and the others into the admiring moon pavilion. How could he say anything? That voice belonged to the Grand Elder. The great demon king didn't have to give any face to the other elders, including the law enforcement elders. However, he had to give face to the Grand Elder. Don't say that you love tea and don't pay the bill. If you walk too much at night, you will meet ghosts, Ruiz said after sitting down. You said it well. The Grand Elder's voice came again. Ruiz was dumbfounded. After hearing the Grand Elder's words, he realized how inappropriate his words were. Meet ghosts? Who was the ghost? Alliance Master, bring some refreshments. I'll go apologize. Reese wanted to slap his own mouth. He couldn't control his mouth, and at such a critical moment, he blurted out everything. Night Sorrow nodded. Then, he asked for tea and refreshments to be served. He then led the group to the private room where the Grand Elder was. Night Sorrow put down the refreshments and nodded at the Grand Elder and King Yawu. This time, it was the Grand Elder and King Yawu. The tea here is indeed very good. There is no other tea shop in the celestial realm. The signboard at the door is well deserved. King Yawu looked at the bright moon in the sky and nodded. What he meant was that the celestial realm was full of bright moons. Only the twilight moon was different. If Uncle Master likes it, you can come here anytime. It's also convenient to have a teleportation array, Night Sorrow said. Is it convenient? I don't think so. The two of us had to wait in line for half a day, and in the end, we had to use spirit stones to exchange numbers with the people in front of us to get a seat. It's not like you bandits entering the village. The Great Elder glanced at the Great Demon Lord and Ruisi. Grand Elder, don't be angry. I have a VIP card. I'll give it to the Grand Elder. Ruiz quickly took out his VIP card and handed it to the Grand Elder. He had the potential to be a bootlicker. At least you understand. I won't argue with you. After the Grand Elder took the VIP card, he glanced at Night Sorrow again. Uncle Master, this is yours. Night Sorrow pushed a VIP card to King Yawu. Uncle Master, take it. I have a good nephew. I don't need to learn from others to blackmail him. King Yawu glanced at the Grand Elder and took the VIP card. Yawu, you're wrong. He respects me. Is there a problem with giving him a VIP card? Okay, you guys go and drink your tea. The Grand Elder began to drive them away. Night Sorrow and the others quickly left. At this time, the Grand Elder did not want to see them. What's wrong today? You talk too fast. Ruiz was still a little depressed. N%CIJ version 6 of GJ version, huh? In a while, I'll ask Sworn Brother for a few more VIP cards. Yishan smiled. After they drank tea, Night Sorrow took a few more VIP cards from Chen Chen before leaving the Twilight Tea House. Night Sorrow took them to the teleportation array to Xingyue City. They checked the defense, communicated with Lu Qi, and then went to the 9 Domains world. Phew. The air is so fresh. After exiting the teleportation array, Pu Luo exhaled and said, This is my hometown. How does it feel? Does it not feel oppressive? Night Sorrow looked at them and said with a smile. It feels like a new life. It's very clear. The celestial realm can't compare. Yu Zhu looked very excited. Then you guys go around and come back here tomorrow at this time. Also, don't cause trouble. Night Sorrow added seriously. Don't worry. If someone spits on my face, I won't even wipe it. It will dry naturally. After saying that, Ruiz ran away. He's a little silly. There's a teleportation array here. Yu Zhu smiled and went on the teleportation array. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao took the teleportation array to the city in the sky. Night Sorrow stayed in Tianhuang City and thought for a while. He went to the base of the First Army to see Long Jin and Tianyu. He planned to take care of some things before he went into seclusion. "Captain, you didn't leave with the Humanitarian League?" Long Jin asked. "No. I plan to go to the Nirvana Ocean to cultivate later. If I can improve, my strength will increase. But before that, there are some things I need to take care of." Night Sorrow said. 13th brother, just say the word and we'll take care of it. There's no need to delay your cultivation. Tianyu said. Your matter? I've been sleeping here for 700 years. Have you made any progress? Night Sorrow asked. It's good. I went back to the 9-domain world and saw her a few times, but I didn't say much. I was a little embarrassed. Tianyu said embarrassedly. I can only go into seclusion after this matter is taken care of. Night Sorrow said. 13th brother, help me ask around. If it's okay, I'll go and ask for her hand in marriage. Tianyu hesitated and said. I have to hand it to you. All right. I'll help you ask around. Night Sorrow nodded. He had to pay attention to Tianyu's matter. Night Sorrow's clone returned to Sky City and went to see his parents. After asking around, he went to Night Moon City. He wanted to see Yi Nianxiao, the current ruler of the Night Moon dynasty. The person Tianyu was thinking about was Yi Nianxiao. This was something that Night Sorrow had analyzed a long time ago. Tianyu liked her and they were familiar with each other. Only Yi Nianxiao and Yi Mei fit the bill. If it was Yi Mei, Tianyu wouldn't be so conflicted. He would have done what he needed to do. Therefore, the only one left was Yi Nianxiao. She was also the person who wouldn't be suitable for the child to call him godfather in the future. In the palace on Night Moon, Night Sorrow saw Yi Nianxiao, who was holding her chin and thinking about something. Nianxiao, what are you thinking about? What if an enemy comes? Night Sorrow greeted her. Brother. Why would an enemy come to the palace on Night Moon? Yi Nianxiao was pleasantly surprised to see Night Sorrow. She quickly walked over and grabbed Night Sorrow's arm. Chapter 1971. Nianxiao, look at you. The Empress of Night Moon is still acting like a child. Night Sorrow pinched his sister's nose. In front of Big Brother, I'll always be a child. If anyone bullies me, I'll look for Big Brother. Yi Nianxiao pulled Night Sorrow over to the throne of the Night Moon dynasty and massaged his shoulders. In the past, the Yi clan had always been known as the Night Moon dynasty. But a long time ago, both the Nine Regions world and the Primal Chaos realm called it the Night Moon dynasty. If Night Moon didn't have the qualifications to be called a dynasty, then no power in the Primal Chaos realm had the qualifications to be called a dynasty. If you can leave the matters here to others, then leave them to others. If you have nothing to do, go home more often. Who would dare to cause trouble? Night Sorrow smiled. I know. No matter who you give the Night Moon dynasty to, no one would dare to take it. I just don't want to go home and have to report to everyone. I can't bring the matters outside home, said Yi Nianxiao. Night Sorrow turned to his sister and asked, You're right. I came here today because of some matters. I've been sleeping for 700 years, and the family has always been very oppressive. Shouldn't there be some good news to change things? Big Brother, don't tell me you've taken a fancy to some girl after waking up. That won't do. That would be letting down my sisters-in-law, said Yi Nianxiao somewhat anxiously. Little girl, what are you thinking about? I'm talking about you. What's going on between you and Tianyu? If you don't give him an answer, he won't be able to ask for your hand in marriage, said Night Sorrow directly. Big Brother, you know. But that stupid bird didn't ask. What should I say? It's not like the girls of our Yi clan can't get married. Yi Nianxiao's face reddened. Stupid bird, you're right. He asked Big Brother to ask. Now that Big Brother understands, there's no need to ask. But Big Brother can't bear to see you marry off to the Azure Ping race. If you suffer, Big Brother won't know, said Night Sorrow. Big Brother, Tianyu won't do that. We should know him. He's very responsible. Yin Yan smiled and spoke up for Tianyu. It's not that I don't trust Tianyu. He's my brother. We grew up together. How can I not trust him? I don't believe the Green Rock race. Tianyu has been bullied before, so I'll talk to the Green Rock race about this. You can't be careless about your happiness. Night Sorrow stood up and said, Brother, it's Nian Zhao's greatest happiness to have a brother like you in this life. Yin Yan smiled until her eyes turned red. She knew that for her happiness, Night Sorrow was willing to do anything. Take care of your business and head home early. Night Sorrow patted Yin Yanxiao on the shoulder, then left Night Moon's lounge. Looking at Night Sorrow's back, Yin Yanxiao wanted to cry. Because her brother hadn't been around for 700 years, she had felt very helpless. She felt like she had lost her backing, and now she was once again that Yin Yanxiao who had the strongest brother. What's wrong? Do you feel a little emotional? Yi Shinyu appeared in the lounge. Great Aunt is here. Yin Yanxiao wiped the corner of her eyes. Yes, you're Night Moon's emperor. How can you cry like a little girl? But your brother is right. You can't get married and suffer. We'll feel bad for you. Yi Shinyu stroked Yin Yanxiao's hair. She had been listening the whole time, but she didn't disturb them. Permanently exempt from paying for sex? Look at this. Say. Nianxiao also doesn't want to get married. Yin Yanxiao wiped her face and smiled. You're Night Moon's emperor. Naturally, you can't be like an ordinary girl. Besides, your brother is Night Sorrow. Haha. Yi Shinyu smiled. Night Sorrow's clone returned to the city in the sky to accompany his family, while his main body discussed this matter with Tianyu. Tianyu, I've asked. It's not impossible. We're brothers, but there are some things that have to be made clear. Don't you think so, Long Jean? Night Sorrow sat down beside Long Jean. He wanted to find an ally to deal with Tianyu. Captain, don't worry. I support you. If you want to get a wife, you have to have an attitude. Long Jean directly expressed his support for Night Sorrow. All right. Long Jean, you're not being honest. Brother 13, just say it and I'll do it. Tianyu nodded. Tianyu, you're my brother. Nianxiao is my only sister. I care about your happiness, but I don't believe in the Azure Rock race. So, don't think that you can marry Nianxiao into the Azure Rock race. It's impossible. Night Sorrow explained his point of view. I'm not saying that the Azure Rock race's young master has to marry into the Yi clan. That means that there's no such thing as marrying into the Yi clan. It's just a normal marriage. Don't pin the broken rules of the Azure Rock race on our Nianxiao. Brother 13, I understand. Actually, I also have these thoughts. As long as Nianxiao is willing, I'm willing to do anything. If grandfather and the old ancestor don't agree, I'll be like father and run away without caring about anything. Brother 13, don't you think that my parents are powerful? After so many years, they don't care about their parents or their son. They just want to live their own lives. Tianyu shook his head. Tianyu, uncle and auntie won't be in any danger, right? Night Sorrow asked worriedly. I used to worry about that too, but I'm an idiot to worry about that. I'm worried that they'll be betrayed. Divination can tell that they're living like immortals. It's just that grandfather and the old ancestor can't determine their location and can't catch them. They've always been very careful. They know that my grandfather and grandfather won't let them off. Once they know where they are, they'll definitely catch them. Tianyu was a little annoyed because his parents were too irresponsible. Are you angry? There's no need at all. Why? Because they believe that with the Azure Rock race and the Xuanluan race around, you'll definitely be able to live well. Long Jean smiled. Yes, I think so too, so I forgive them. However, their way of thinking is pretty good. If the family forces me, I can totally imitate them. Tianyu looked at Night Sorrow and expressed his attitude. Then you can tell the family. But no matter what, I'll support you and Nianxiao. Back then, I took care of the celestial cliffs for you. I don't mind fighting the Azure Rock race again. Night Sorrow patted Tianyu's shoulder. Once this matter is settled, the Azure Rock race will have to consider going against the Deluxe Merit Emperor and the Human Emperor, right? Besides, they didn't let Tianyu marry into their family. Also, I have something that I need your help with in the future. Long Jin said. You're boring. We're brothers. Do you need to ask for help? Night Sorrow knocked Long Jin's shoulder. Tianyu is about to get married. I can't fall behind him. However, dragon language doesn't have any relatives. I'm worried that she'll feel uncomfortable. So, Captain, can you give her an identity in the Chaos Realm or the Nine Regions world? You two can become siblings or something. It'll be so honorable to be the Human Emperor's elder sister. Long Jin spoke his thoughts. Shameless. Tianyu muttered. None of your business. Long Jin glared at Tianyu. Elder sister? Long Jin, you're really good. However, who's elder and who's younger is decided by the heavens. You can't just make the decision. Night Sorrow was a little speechless. It seemed that Long Jin had already prepared a trap and was waiting for him to fall into it. Chapter 1972. In order to resolve the issue of dragon language, Night Sorrow's group of 3 didn't waste any time. They directly took a teleportation array to Ethereal Imperial City. Night Sorrow left the teleportation array and went to a gambling house. He threw down several Holy Spirit stones and took out a cup of sex. Brother 13, you're not going to use this to decide the size of dragon language, are you? Tianyu was dumbfounded. Today, I'll rely on this. I, Yi Shang, will believe in fate this time. Yi Shang nodded at Tianyu. When they arrived at the Night Moon Villa, Long Jin called out, and the god-slaying squad gathered. Night Sorrow's wives were also present. I'll tell you 2 things. The first is about Tianyu. He plans to propose to my little sister, dragon language. I support this, but there are some details that need to be discussed. The second thing is that Long Jin is anxious to see Tianyu get married, so he plans to propose to dragon language. However, everyone knows about dragon language's situation. Ever since she left the Primal Chaos region with us, she has no relatives. I don't want my brothers and sisters to have no relatives. Today, I, Night Sorrow, will be your relative. What do you think about dragon language? Night Sorrow looked at the assembled members of the god-slaying squad. Many thanks, Captain. Dragon language is willing. Dragon language nodded. Long Jin wants us to be brother and sister, but I'm not willing. Today, I'll use this to decide the size. Night Sorrow made a grabbing motion with his left hand, and a table by the side of the training field flew over. Next, Night Sorrow slammed the cup of sex on the table. You can do that? Liang Yu looked at Night Sorrow with some astonishment. Why not? Dragon language, what do you think? Night Sorrow smiled at dragon language. Of course. Dragon language turned her head and wiped the corners of her eyes. She knew that Night Sorrow had done a lot for her. Now, he was willing to do something for her. Whoever cheats is a dog. Yun Huang shouted. H6, do you think everyone is like you, Yun Huang? Just shake and slap to determine the size. Yi Shang glared at Yun Huang. I'll go first. Dragon language walked up to the table, shook his cup, and slammed it on the table. Following which, the very active Yun Huang stepped forward and opened it. 3, 2, 6. How silly. Liang Yu and the others laughed. What do you know? This is called good things come in pairs. Dragon language looked at Liang Yu and the others with dissatisfaction. It's my turn now. Dragon language. Are you the older sister or the younger sister? Let's see who's better. Night Sorrow shook his cup and slammed it on the table. Before Yi Shang could open it, Yun Huang had already opened it. 3 fours. Good things come in pairs. Not bad. Are you convinced by the dragon language? Night Sorrow slammed the table. We all lost. What's there to be convinced about? Dragon language greets elder brother. Dragon language bowed to Night Sorrow. Don't. Let's wait for a while. I suddenly realized that I'll become smaller in the future. Captain, can I fight for myself? Long Jean stood up. Because dragon language was a girl, he would have to call Night Sorrow elder brother in the future. I'm happy today. I'll give you a chance. Come on. Night Sorrow smiled. You're the captain. You go first. Long Jean made an inviting gesture to Night Sorrow. Watch me kill all. Night Sorrow shook his cup and slammed it on the table. Yun Huang opened it. This time, everyone laughed. One of the dice stood up without a da, while the other 2 were dots. Good things come in pairs, but this is a little too small. Night Sorrow was speechless. This was the prelude to a tragedy. Looking at Night Sorrow's 2 dots, everyone laughed. Getting 2 dots out of 3 was something that others couldn't do even if they wanted to. Ahaha. Watch me kill all. Long Jean laughed loudly and slammed the dice cup on the table. When Yun Huang opened the dice cup, Long Jean was dumbfounded because the result was even more tragic. He was too excited and forgot about his strength as the golden dragon. The force of the shaking was too great. 2 of the dice broke, leaving only 1 dot. All right. You'll still be the captain in the future. Long Jean was speechless as he slapped his hands together. A great opportunity was lost just like that. Dragon language, you haven't known me for a long time. But during the 700 years that I was unconscious, you and the brothers of the god-slaying team were together for 700 years. You're our family. Come, light the incense. Night Sorrow nodded to dragon language. The incense was lit. Night Sorrow and dragon language swore to the heavens and became sworn brothers. Then, the group of people began to drink. Ah Luo, you and Sister Xian, help take care of these matters. If the others have plans to start a family, we'll also help arrange it. Night Sorrow instructed Datura as they drank. After drinking, Night Sorrow left. He wanted to return to Tianhuang City to cultivate. With the matters at hand settled, he felt more at ease. Captain, you've thought of everything you should and shouldn't have. With such a captain, I have no regrets in this life. Qian Yu whispered. He just wants to see his brothers and sisters doing well. This is also his pursuit. Sikong Chuyu nodded. Tian Yu also left. He had to go back and tell his family about this matter. He was the only son of Azure Rock Patriarch Tian Yunsong, and the only young patriarch. Tian Yunsong and forefather Azure Rock were talking about Night Sorrow's title. In addition, the leaders of the 100 races of the celestial realm, including the patriarchs of the divine beast race, had received a joint letter from the Tianhuang City Lord, King Yawu, and Grand Elder confirming Night Sorrow's identity as the human emperor. Yunsong. The 2 words divine emperor are very frightening. Not to mention, it's also immortal. This means that he's qualified to reach the peak. With the forbidden attribute, this guy is absolutely ruthless. Ordinary Emperor Tribulation cultivators have no chance in front of him, forefather Azure Rock said. He dealt with our Azure Rock clan's celestial cliffs. Father, please don't take it to heart. Night Sorrow is still young. There's a lot of room for improvement in the future. His achievements are immeasurable. Tian Yunsong didn't want forefather Azure Rock to hold a grudge against Night Sorrow because of Celestial Cliffs. Celestial Cliffs is a bully at home, but a coward outside. So what if he's dealt with? He did it for our young patriarch. We should be happy that Tianyu has a brother like this. At the very least, who would dare bully him outside? Forefather Azure Rock didn't mind. Father, there's one more thing. The Black Phoenix Patriarch is saying that Tianyu has their blood in him. We can't fight, and there's no end to it, Tian Yunsang said, a little annoyed. Then what do we do? It's a fact that my grandson kidnapped someone else's daughter. Before Tianyu, they wouldn't have done this. Now that their descendant isn't outstanding, of course they'll target Tianyu. Later, I'll go talk to the Black Phoenix Patriarch. If that doesn't work, then I won't care anymore. If they can go ask Night Sorrow for him, why are they trying to be unreasonable with us? Forefather Azure Rock said. Then we'll listen to Father's arrangements. Tian Yunsang knew what to do. The scene of Night Sorrow entering the Nirvana Ocean naturally couldn't be hidden from the Tianhuang City Lord and the others. This little fella really has a fighting spirit. He actually entered the Nirvana Ocean to cultivate. No one has done this before. The Grand Elder lamented. Therefore, he hopes that he has a positive attitude. He didn't slack off just because he reached the 8-star Emperor rank. The Tianhuang City Lord looked in the direction of Night Sorrow's cultivation and said. Time. What he needs now is time. He is about to enter the 9th era. In other words, there is still one era left. He must reach that height. Otherwise, he won't be able to pass the god-destroying calamity. King Yowu said. He was very worried about Night Sorrow. It's enough. What's his cultivation speed now? His lifespan is only close to 1,000 years. Because he is young, his fate and aura are very sufficient. He is advancing rapidly and is unstoppable. The Grand Elder said. He was very envious of Night Sorrow's youth. After living for 8 eras, they were all a little tired. Before this reincarnation cycle ends, if we can't pass it, we will fall. I hope to see him rise again. That would be enough for us. The Tianhuang City Lord said softly. The Green Rock Race's people are here. Patriarch and elders are together. Is something the matter? The Tianhuang City Lord looked in the direction of the teleportation array. Chapter 1974. After hearing Tian Yunlan's intentions, the Grand Elder smiled. I'm not the only one who can be a witness. These two are fine too. The human sovereign sister is getting married. This is a joyous occasion. Your Green Rock clan has profited greatly. Thank you, Grand Elder, for your support. With the City Lord and King Yowu here, I believe this will be a grand occasion. Tian Yunlan's face was full of smiles. Then, the group took the teleportation array and rushed towards the Ethereal Dynasty. When they arrived at the Ethereal Dynasty, Elder Lan in the City Lord's mansion knew. He quickly informed Lin Piaomiao and brought them to the VIP tower. After Lin Piaomiao received the news, she told Night Sorrow, who was drinking with the Humanitarian League. Night Sorrow's clone had been accompanying Pu Luo and the Great Demon King from the Humanitarian League. Yes. Look at the original version of Chapter A, Section DT, so many people came. Are they here to express their sincerity or to denounce me? Don't worry. I'll take them on. Night Sorrow finished the wine in his cup and stood up. Brother, don't get into a conflict with others. Yin Yanxiao, who had also returned home, was a little worried. Don't worry. If I can't make the decision for my sister, then there's no point in living. If anyone dares to suppress me on this matter, I dare to fight the world. Night Sorrow was a little angry. Then, the Humanitarian League group arrived at the Ethereal Dynasty. Night Sorrow told the Humanitarian League to stay in Yiyu Manor. He wanted to go to the Ethereal Dynasty's VIP tower to take a look. I'm not going. They're here to propose marriage. Do we have to go and pay them a visit? The Great Demon King was also a little angry. I'm not going to see the Green Rock clan. The City Lord, my martial uncle, and the Grand Elder are here. I have to go and pay them a visit. Night Sorrow said. Let's go together and see what's going on. Pu Luo said. Then, the group arrived at the Ethereal Dynasty's VIP tower. Seeing the arrival of Night Sorrow, the mayor, King Yowu, and the Grand Elder were all very happy. The mayor even cancelled the energy in his body and returned to the real body of Tran Hung, the writer of the Celestial Demon List. Looking at Night Sorrow's aura, King Yowu knew that Night Sorrow had misunderstood. Night Sorrow, it seems that you have some misunderstanding. Patriarch Qing Peng and Elder Yunlan came to propose marriage. They felt that it wasn't grand enough, so they invited Martial Uncle, City Lord Chen, and Grand Elder to be witnesses. Lord Human Emperor, I am Tian Yunlan of the Green Rock Clan. I was entrusted by the ancestor to come to the Nine Regions world to propose marriage with the Patriarch. Because Yin Yanxiao is Lord Human Emperor's only sister, in order to make it grand, we invited the three of you to be witnesses. Tian Yunlan said. So that's how it is. I, Night Sorrow, have gauged the heart of a gentleman with my own yardstick. My apologies. Then, please move to Star Moon City. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards the Green Rock Clan's people and nodded towards Tianyu. Tian Yunsang cupped his hands towards Night Sorrow in return. At this moment, he had a higher opinion of Night Sorrow because Night Sorrow was a person who was what he was. He had come in anger because of a misunderstanding. After speaking, he didn't try to cover up his embarrassment. He directly explained it in a straightforward manner. It wasn't shameful at all. After arriving at Star Moon City, Night Sorrow sent someone to inform his parents and Yin Yanxiao to come over. Now that they were here, the matter of marriage had to be discussed. Furthermore, knowing that the other party attached great importance to this matter and had even invited the three big shots of the 100 Races Alliance, Night Sorrow's attitude became a lot better. When others gave him face, he had to accept it. When face was returned, it had to be returned. Both sides had a good discussion because Night Sorrow's starting point was for the sake of Tianyu and Yin Yanxiao. He didn't make things difficult for them at all. Domain Lord Knight, after they get married, where would be suitable for them to live? We need to arrange it. How about Misty Imperial City? Tian Yunlan asked. Night Sorrow didn't accept the title of Human Emperor, so Tian Yunlan changed it to Domain Lord Knight. That's up to them. They can live wherever they want. I'll take care of the family business. I've spent some time in the celestial realm, so I have some family business. In truth, Tianyu is as important to me as my younger sister. You might not understand this, but Tianyu and I have known each other since we were in our teens. We've fought side by side, and we've fought countless life and death battles together. We're not blood brothers, but we're better than blood brothers. My children call him Uncle, Night Sorrow said. Tianyu stood up and walked over to Night Sorrow to hug Night Sorrow. We understand. We're truly happy for Tianyu. Tian Yunlan cupped her hands towards Night Sorrow. Domain Lord Knight, Sky Cloud, am a straightforward person. There are some things that I have to say. You can call me shameless, but I still have to ask. You can say whatever you want about Tianyu and Yin Yanxiao. I don't have any objections at all. But what will the child's surname be? He's the only heir of the Azure Rock Clan's patriarch's bloodline. Sky Cloud rose to his feet and looked at Night Sorrow. Big brother, Domain Lord Knight, please don't take offense. Tian Yunlan glanced at Tian Yunlan anxiously. It's fine. Azure Rock Clan leader, you're overthinking things. Night Sorrow admires your straightforwardness. I, Night Sorrow, am not an unreasonable person. Their child will be the child of your Azure Rock Clan. Naturally, the child will have the surname of your Azure Rock Clan. I'm just the child's uncle. Night Sorrow laughed as he helped Skycloud sit down. Many thanks. Skycloud clasped his hands towards Night Sorrow. He was truly grateful to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had thought of everything perfectly, and hadn't made things difficult for him. So you know you're shameless. Did you arrange Tianyu's marriage? Did you ask for my permission? An old man in white robes led a man into the hall. Emperor Tang and Lu Qi followed behind them. Grand Elder, the Black Phoenix clan leader is coming. Emperor Tang can't stop him. Emperor Tang spoke up. Lu Qi stood to one side, his posture guarded. It's fine. You two, sit down and drink some water. The Grand Elder nodded to Emperor Tang and Lu Qi. He knew things were going to be troublesome. Xian Jinggang, what are you trying to do? Once this is over, you can say whatever you want. Sky Cloud said. I'm trying to do something. The governor, Emperor Yowu, and Grand Elder are all here. Let's settle our differences. Is it true that your son kidnapped my only daughter? The Black Phoenix clan leader clasped his hands in greeting, then pointed a finger at Sky Cloud. It's been many years, so I won't argue with you. Let's be honest. You lost a daughter, and I lost my only son. He was the only heir to the Azure Rock clan. Now that my grandson has returned, you shouldn't cause any more trouble. Once this is over, I'll go to the Black Phoenix clan and apologize. Sky Cloud said. But why do you keep stopping me from seeing my grandson? The Black Phoenix clan leader asked. You keep trying to kidnap people. Who would dare let you see them? Sky Cloud explained. My daughter is missing. Can't I see my grandson? Let's be reasonable. Tian Yunlan pulled the Black Phoenix clan leader to a seat. How about this? You two families should stop bickering. Just take it that your two families are officially receiving a bride, and your son and daughter are not at home. Now that the child is at home, and the child is about to get married, the grandson should be the grandson, 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 the Chapter 1975. Isn't this too much? You have a daughter who's about to get married. How can you have designs on the Green Rock clan's young master's child? Tsang Tian was a little anxious. What? If you don't agree, then no one will be happy. The Black Phoenix clan leader glared at Tsang Tian. Black Phoenix clan leader, there's no point in this. Today is the day of the engagement. The Grand Elder said. Xian Jinggang, if you cause trouble, we Green Rock clan won't say anything. But today is the day of Tianyu's engagement. Is it appropriate for you to involve so many people? Tsang Tian said. I'm causing trouble. What's wrong? The Black Phoenix clan leader glared at Tsang Tian. He didn't want to let things go. At this moment, Yi Shang, who was originally sitting down, stood up and said, whatever you want to do has nothing to do with our primal chaos realm. This is Star Moon City. Today, my sister Yi Shang is getting married. My brother Yi Shang is getting married. If you want to cause trouble, please change the time. The Black Phoenix clan leader is fine. The Sky City leader looked at the Black Phoenix clan leader and spat out 4 words. He was clearly unhappy. The Black Phoenix clan was a divine beast clan. It didn't matter if they were arrogant. But now, they came to Xingyue City to cause trouble. They didn't give face to Night Sorrow and the Chaos Realm. My father has a bad temper. All these years, he's been thinking about my sister. His words were a little rude. I hope the Sky City leader and the Night Sorrow Realm leader won't mind. The white-robed man who came with the Black Phoenix clan leader said. At the same time, he pulled the Black Phoenix clan leader back a step. No matter what grudges you had in the past, today is the day of the child's engagement. It's a joyous occasion. Put everything else aside. King Yo-woo also spoke. It's a good thing that the Black Phoenix clan leader is here. Everyone, sit down and continue the conversation. Elder Tian Yunlan gave the Black Phoenix clan leader a way out. The Black Phoenix clan leader's expression was ugly. He sat down without saying anything because the white-robed man sent him a message. The leaders of the 100 races had received a message from the Council of Elders. They all knew about the birth of the human sovereign. The Black Phoenix Patriarch came to Star Moon City to make a ruckus. He didn't want to give Night Sorrow, the virtuous sovereign, any face. The leader of the Black Phoenix race wanted to cause trouble with the Green Rock race, but he forgot that he would offend Night Sorrow if he did so. The white-robed man reminded him just now. Child, you're Tianyu, right? I'm your uncle, Xian He. I heard that you got married, so your grandfather prepared a congratulatory gift and prepared a mansion for you in the divine capital. The man in white nodded at Tianyu with a smile on his face. His smile was filled with sadness and love. Tianyu greets uncle. Tianyu stood up and bowed to Xian He. Good child, you look very much like your mother, but with a little more determination. Very good. Uncle doesn't have anything to give you. Here are some battle techniques I researched. Take a look. Xian He handed a book to Tianyu. My 13th brother said that I won't accept any gifts when I get married. He'll take care of everything. But I'll accept uncle's gift. Tianyu nodded. Because the Black Phoenix Patriarch and Xian He had arrived, Tian Yunlan told them about the agreement between the Yi family and the Green Rock race. Rich and overbearing. The Black Phoenix Patriarch glanced at Night Sorrow. I don't have much capital, but taking care of my sister and brother is something I, Night Sorrow, can do. Night Sorrow didn't stand on ceremony. Thank you, brother. Tianyu could see that Night Sorrow didn't care about offending anyone for him and Yin Yanxiao. Thank you, brother. Yin Yanxiao sat down beside Night Sorrow. You don't have to be so courteous with me. What's the point of having me? I'm here to protect you from any grievances. Whether it's in front of others or behind others, I'll say it. If anyone dares to give you any face, I'll fight to the end, said Night Sorrow. He was expressing his attitude to everyone. That won't happen. Nianxiao is the Yi family's treasure. In the future, she'll also be the treasure of our Green Rock race. Don't worry. Tian Yunlan rejoiced in her heart. If it were anyone else, it would be very difficult to discuss the marriage. Night Sorrow was truly domineering. I'm very sorry. Night Sorrow's words were a bit rough and made everyone unhappy. I'll apologize later. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Tian Yunlan. Next, the wedding date was set. It would be held in 3 months. The wedding would be held in Star Moon City. After arranging the guests' accommodations, Night Sorrow and Tianyu went to Star Moon Lake to enjoy the breeze. Tianyu, Brother 13's attitude today is a bit extreme. Don't mind him, said Night Sorrow to Tianyu. Brother 13, let's not talk about this between us. Others don't understand you, but I do. My grandfather and the others went overboard. They didn't give others any face, said Tianyu. Actually, it's not important. You and Nianxiao are better than anything else. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and handed it to Tianyu. At this time, in the VIP building of Star Moon Island, King Yo-woo was sitting in the main seat. The Patriarch of the Green Rock race and the Patriarch of the Black Phoenix race were all present. The City Lord of Tianhuang City was sitting in the guest seat, drinking tea. Xian Zhengang, are you here to cause trouble? Do you think you can cause trouble here? King Yo-woo's face was cold because he was very angry. No, Lord King Yo-woo, you misunderstood. The Patriarch of the Black Phoenix race, Xian Zhengang, hurriedly explained. The Black Phoenix race was very strong, but they weren't qualified to challenge King Yawu. If you want to cause trouble in the future, look at the situation. I send a message to you. Night Sorrow is the emperor of the human race, the emperor of the 100 Races Alliance, and the Deluxe Merit Emperor. Do you think the Black Phoenix race is lucky and fated to go against the Deluxe Merit Emperor? King Yawu slammed his hand on the armrest of his chair. The armrest of the chair was fine, but there was an explosion in the air. Lord King Yawu, please calm down. My father was just complaining. He didn't mean any harm, explained Xian He. If you really want to cause trouble, who will stand on the Black Phoenix race's side? The Blood Scale race and Night Sorrow are close friends. The Prince of the Golden Dragon race is his sworn brother. The new Emperor of the Ice Phoenix race is his concubine. The Nine-Tailed Fox race has a good relationship with him. Don't you know the strength of the Humanitarian League? Haven't you thought about the consequences? King Yawu glared at Xian Tiangang. Xian Tiangang didn't say anything. He knew that King Yawu was Night Sorrow's backer. He was the most terrifying backer. Lord King Yawu, please calm down. The leader of the Black Phoenix race may not have thought so much, said Tian Yunlan. I'll say a few words. Since King Yawu has said what happened today, I won't emphasize it again. I'll talk about the future. It's a fact that Night Sorrow is the emperor of the human race. His title is the Immortal Godly Emperor. This represents his personal achievements, but it also represents the future of the celestial realm. He's the savior of the celestial realm. He's the only chance for the celestial realm to survive the last reincarnation. If anyone goes against him, I'll deal with them without asking who's right or wrong. Do you think I'm selfish? Do you think I'm selfish and useless? Which race in the heaven realm doesn't follow this rule? I won't tolerate it. Also, I'm a human. The city lord put down the teacup in his hand and said. Back then, there were 4 of us, but now there are only 3 left. King Yawu lowered his voice. The city lord patted King Yawu's shoulder. Night Sorrow has achieved so much. I have no regrets. Sky Cloud and Xian Jinggang looked at each other. They realized there were many things they didn't know. There are some things you don't know. I'm not trying to hide them, but there's no need to mention them. In the last reincarnation, they fought with the human emperor against the winged demon. There were 4 emperors who survived. They came from different sects, but they were all good friends and brothers. Later, 2 of them went to Tianhuang City and the other 2 went to the divine capital, the Grand Elder said. By now, Tian Yunsong and the others knew who the 4 people were. They were none other than the city lord, the Great Elder, King Yawu, and the Unparalleled Sword Emperor. Only 3 people remained because the Unparalleled Sword Emperor, Yan Wushuang, had perished. This relationship made Sung Sky Cloud and Xian Jinggang understand why the human race had always been so united. It was because the 3 most powerful leaders of the human race were brothers. Yawu, when we went to Night Moon Villa to take the teleportation, did you notice a team in the mansion? The city lord asked. I did. It should be the famous god-slaying team in the past few hundred years. Their overall strength is not bad. The rarest thing is that they're young and full of vigor. King Yawu nodded. I plan to hold a meeting with the elders of the 100 races when we go back. I suggest that we focus on training these young people. They'll definitely be the backbone of the battle against the winged demon in the future, the city lord said. Okay. If the meeting doesn't agree, we'll send them to the divine capital and train them ourselves. King Yawu nodded. Tianhuang City was the city of the 100 Races Alliance. It was built to defend against the winged demon, while the divine capital was the city of the human race. The 100 races developed in the divine capital, but the human race had the right to speak. That won't happen. The city lord, King Yawu, and the great elder have been working hard for the stability of the heaven realm. All the clans of the 100 Clans Alliance have seen this, the Xuanluan clan leader said. Although he was scolded, he recognized the city lord and the other two's perspective on the overall situation. "I've thought about it in the past, but Night Sorrow was in a coma. It wasn't appropriate to mention it, so I put it aside. This time, we can mention it when we go back. Also, we have to talk to Night Sorrow. They won't agree just because we want to." Night Sorrow treasures the people around him, the Grand Elder said with a smile. "There's one more thing to deal with. I've been traveling around the world recently and found that their people are investigating the Heaven's Vault tribe. There's probably something wrong. If we don't deal with it in time, the Heaven's Vault tribe will be crushed." The city lord pointed at Night Sorrow's direction with his chin. "Someone's stirring up trouble again. They're really restless. But there shouldn't be any problems in the near future. They won't use their weapons until there's a happy occasion." The Grand Elder shook his head helplessly. "The people of Star Moon City won't, but what about the Human Alliance? We know the Demon King's personality. I really wonder if it was the right decision to let him follow you. If he becomes the Grand Elder, will there still be peace?" The city lord rubbed his short hair with his hand. Night Sorrow had indeed sent people to investigate the Heaven's Vault tribe because someone from the Chaos Realm had died in the Heaven's Vault tribe. This didn't mean that Night Sorrow would take revenge whenever someone from the Chaos Realm died. It was because the two of them had come to the Celestial Realm in order to break the shackles of the Nine Realms world. It was for the sake of the Chaos Realm. Under such circumstances, it was natural for the people of the Chaos Realm to take revenge. The dead couldn't be wronged in the underworld. Night Sorrow is a straightforward person. Just ask him what happened and he'll understand. If it's a small matter, but if the Heaven's Vault tribe did something evil, then there's nothing we can do, Tsang Tian said. After chatting with Tianyu and Yin Yan for a while, Night Sorrow thought of Long Jin and the dragon language. He still had some questions to discuss with the dragon language. He was almost certain that the disappearance of the black dragons had something to do with Mo Tianji. The new fastest, carrot. Chapter 1977. Leaving Tianyu and Yin Yanxiao to talk alone, Night Sorrow got up and left. He took the teleportation array and arrived at Night Moon Villa, where he found Long Jin and Dragon Language. "Brother, did Tianyu and Yanxiao's matter go smoothly?" Dragon Language asked. "There were some twists and turns, but it went very smoothly. Right now, I'm worried about you too. Long Jin, is there any problem with your uncle?" Night Sorrow asked. "There's no problem. I gave him a heads up." Long Jin nodded. "If there's no problem on your side, then things are settled. Dragon Language, I'm still worried about you. I can foresee that the black dragons are definitely in cahoots with Mo Tianji. I don't know when they'll attack our Star Moon City and the Nine Domain world. This will make things difficult for you. Why don't you and Long Jin's true body go live in the Nine Domain world after the wedding?" Night Sorrow said. "Brother, you don't have to worry about Dragon Language. There's nothing difficult about it. Regardless of whether you're a human or a dragon, there's a scale in your heart. You'll know what's right and what's wrong." "Thank you, brother." Dragon Language nodded. She knew that Night Sorrow was much younger than her, but after hearing Night Sorrow's words, she felt at ease. "We're siblings, so there's naturally no need to be so polite. Long Jin, how's your cultivation of the techniques I told you about last time? If you have any questions, you can ask me." Night Sorrow asked. "I've already researched fire. Furthermore, I've changed our dragon's ultimate technique, Dragon Traversing the Nine Heavens, into my Dragon Traversing the Nine Heavens. In addition, I've also cultivated a blade technique." Then I'm relieved. "Right, let's take a look around and see if there's a suitable mansion. Tianyu's about to get married, so I'll have to buy a mansion nearby." Night Sorrow smiled. Following this, the three of them went out. The price wasn't a problem, as long as they liked it. Yishan successfully bought a mansion. But under the confused gazes of Long Jin and Dragon Language, Night Sorrow bought a second set. Then, Long Jin understood. He patted Night Sorrow's shoulder heavily because he understood that Night Sorrow had prepared this for him. Long Jean, why don't you talk to your uncle and propose marriage as well? You and Tianyu can get married together. Night Sorrow said. All right, then I'll go back first. Long Jean thought for a moment and nodded. After Long Jean left, Night Sorrow nodded at dragon language. Sister, don't worry. Big brother will marry you off in a grand manner. It definitely won't be any less ostentatious than any other clan. Dragon language nodded. She knew that Night Sorrow did not have much interaction with her, but Night Sorrow was exiled to help her, so she was very grateful. After returning to the Golden Dragon clan, Long Jean explained the situation to his uncle. The Black Dragons have a sensible princess. That's good. She's very suitable for our Golden Dragon clan. It can be considered as giving the Black Dragons a chance to live. Propose marriage, that's fine. Now that the Desolate City's City Lord and the others are in Star Moon City, Uncle will make a trip there. Golden Dragon King sighed. In the past few hundred years, he had been very unhappy. The Black Dragons had disappeared. As the clan leader of the dragons, the Black Dragons were part of the Black Dragon clan. The current situation was not something he was willing to see. Long Jin's proposal was much easier than the Azure Rock clan's proposal. Because Night Sorrow did not have any requests, the Golden Dragon clan only had the Golden Dragon King and Long Jin. There was no need for dragon language to be angered by anyone. The date was the same as Tianyu and Yi Nianxiao's. They were all married on the same day. The guests stayed for a few days before leaving Star Moon City. They could feel the aura of a new force in Star Moon City. The Desolate City's City Lord, King Yowu, the Grand Elder, and Night Sorrow said that they wanted to focus on nurturing the God-slaying squad. Seniors, there's naturally no problem on my side. However, the God-slaying squad is too young and lacking in strength. They can't be compared to the other Heaven Wasteland armies, Night Sorrow said. We chose them not just because they're young. They're all talents. It's just that they've been overshadowed by your excellence. They're all incredible talents no matter where they are, the Grand Elder said. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow could no longer refuse. He agreed to bring everyone to Desolate City after Long Jin and Tianyu's wedding. The days passed peacefully. Night Sorrow's main body stayed in Nirvana Ocean and analyzed the Nirvana Storm's heaven and earth momentum that strengthened his attributes. When the reincarnation Nirvana flames invaded his divine sea, Night Sorrow raised his destruction attribute heaven and earth willpower to 89%. His spacetime attribute, death attribute, and life attribute all had significant improvements. This was because these 5 attributes were formed from the forbidden attribute reincarnation. After comprehending by analogy, his void attribute rose to 87%. This was because Night Sorrow's innate attribute was the most compatible. In his current cultivation state, Night Sorrow felt that his void attribute's heaven and earth momentum was increasing the fastest, followed by the death and life attributes. The destruction and spacetime attributes heaven and earth momentum were bottlenecks. Unless he didn't comprehend them, as long as he comprehended them, he would be able to enter 9-star Emperor, which was the peak Emperor rank. With improvements, Night Sorrow was happy. This was because he had the opportunity to comprehend by analogy. Attributes were either connected or relative. Destruction and death had many similarities. Void, destruction, and spacetime also had similarities. Staying at the bottom of the Nirvana Ocean, Night Sorrow cultivated in peace. The celestial realm seemed to have calmed down. Night Sorrow's clone stayed in Star Moon City to cultivate and improve his spear arts. Although the Blood Chelan Evil Punishing Spear was different from the Reincarnation Heavenly Halberd, Night Sorrow was used to the Blood Chelan Evil Punishing Spear. On this day, Night Sorrow was cultivating when Blue Uwan came. Seeing Blue Uwan come, Night Sorrow was stunned. This was because the Profound Ice Chelan Tiger was beside her. The Profound Ice Chelan Tiger had always been cultivating in 9 grand floors. Why? Because the Profound Ice Chelan Tiger was a bit slow and wasn't suited to interact with people. 9 grand floors was rather quiet. Also, Knight Sorrow didn't need a mount. Or rather, it wasn't suitable for him to use a mount. Who would dare to use a king-rank mount in a battle between emperors? Domain attacks and energy attacks were all fatal. Seeing Knight Sorrow, the profound Ice Chilan tiger roared and went to Knight Sorrow's side. Knight Sorrow had to raise his hand to touch the profound Ice Chilan tiger's head. The profound Ice Chilan tiger used its head to hit Knight Sorrow's hand. The profound Ice Chilan tiger had cultivated for 700 years and was now an overlord. Junior brother, this fella has been sleeping for the past 700 years. It even sleeps for 100 years and doesn't talk to anyone. However, it hasn't been peaceful for the past 2 months, so I had to bring it here, Blue Luan said. Then let it stay in Star Moon City from now on. Ice Chilan, this is your home. Don't hurt anyone. Do whatever you want. Knight Sorrow patted the Ice Chilan's neck again. The Ice Chilan tiger's body shook and roared. It left Knight Sorrow's side and rushed into Star Moon Lake. Something's wrong. Lu Chi went to Knight Sorrow's side. 7th Elder, do you also feel that something is wrong? Knight Sorrow looked at Lu Chi. At that time, Chi Roi's tailbone was purified into a few drops of blood essence. With those drops of blood as a primer, we can change the Ice Chilan's bloodline. Chi Roi pushed the blood Chilan vanquishing evil spear back to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow received the blood Chilan clan in Star Moon City. Chi Roi's family stayed with the Ice Chilan. Perhaps because of its innate soul, the Ice Chilan was very close to them. After staying for a few days, Chi Roi and Lin Xiao took the Ice Chilan away. However, Lin Yun stayed behind. She wanted to train outside and Chi Roi and Lin Xiao agreed. Lin Yun's strength was not bad. In addition, she stayed with Knight Sorrow, so Chi Roi and Lin Xiao were more at ease. Knight Sorrow brought Lin Yun to the Humanitarian League and let her stay with Lin Piaomiao. Since Chi Roi left Lin Yun behind, he had to take good care of her. Because of her origin as a virtue beast and an auspicious beast, Lin Yun had an aura that made others feel close to her. Coupled with her easygoing personality, she got along very well with the members of the Humanitarian League and the God-Slaying Squad. After Knight Sorrow finished dealing with the matters in Star Moon City, it was time for Night Moon to go to the manor. Every day, he would accompany the members of the God-Slaying Squad to practice their battle techniques. His comprehension of attribute fusion and battle techniques was top-notch. There was no problem for him to guide others in their cultivation. 8M Yongjio, 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 the God-Slaying Squad also had one more member. It was Yi Ninxiao. She was about to become Tianyu's wife. The two of them naturally had to fight side by side. Lin Piaomiao hired people to tidy up the 2 mansions that Knight Sorrow had bought, turning them into joyous bridal chambers. One of the mansions had the plaque, Yu Manor, the other, Long Manor. Knight Sorrow really wanted to go see Wu Lingfei. However, he felt that if Wu Lingfei was fine, she should have returned. If she hadn't returned, then something must have happened. If he went to see her now, it would easily distract her. Everything was stable. Other than guiding the members of the God-Slaying Squad in their cultivation, Knight Sorrow practiced his spear arts. In the past, Knight Sorrow still had some misgivings about using the blood Chilan evil punishing spear. He was worried that if it was damaged, it would damage the Chilan wings. But now, he didn't need to worry about that. There were no battle reports from Tianhuang City. Knight Sorrow and the others were leading Night Moon to the manor. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian were in a large valley outside Devil Imperial City. In front of them were 2 large square formations. One was the Dragon-Headed Man Formation, while the other was the Snake-Headed Man Formation. These were the elites of the Dragon-Headed Man and Snake-Headed Man formations that Mo Tianji had tossed to Mo Yutian. The heavenly concubine has been there for more than 700 years. There is still no news. I wonder if she has gotten her body back, Mo Yutian said. The heavenly concubine is a smart person. Perhaps she has already gotten her body back and is cultivating somewhere. We didn't get the Tianhuang war halberd in the reincarnation battlefield. That was a mistake. But bringing back these warriors has strengthened them a lot, Mo Zhantian said as he looked at the snake-headed man and dragon-headed man armies. After bringing back the dragon-headed man and snake-headed man, Mo Yutian and Mo Zhantian began to strengthen their actual combat strength. After 700 years, the Devil Wing clan had built 2 powerful armies. The Devil Wing clan didn't do anything. They were mainly waiting for news from Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji was one of the 3 great heavens of the Devil Wing clan. She was the leader. Whether she was here or not was very important. If the patriarch can wake up, then we will have no problem waging war against the celestial realm. Unfortunately, there are too few soul fragments in those 2 strands of hair. It's not enough to wake him up, Mo Yutian said. It will take time. Even if there are soul fragments, it will be difficult to gather enough soul fragments. Mo Zhantian shook his head. Don't worry. There is still an epoch. Time is not short. If we plan carefully and fight to the death, there is still a chance. Mo Yutian turned his head and looked in the direction of the celestial realm. The celestial realm's lifespan has come to an end. But this step still has to be taken. The passage to the new supreme world must be in the celestial realm. Mo Yutian nodded. The Devil Wing clan also knew that the celestial realm's lifespan was coming to an end. But they still had to conquer it. According to the rules of the past, the new supreme world and the old supreme world were connected. So, they had some plans. The first step of their plan was to conquer the Reincarnation Island. Chapter 1979. Currently, only the Nirvana Ocean Bridge was connected to the celestial realm. It was difficult for the demon-winged race to enter the celestial realm through the Nirvana Ocean Bridge because the heavenly desolate city was there. Therefore, Mo Yutian and Mo Zhantian thought of another way, which was to use the reincarnation battlefield, which was the Reincarnation Island. After occupying the Reincarnation Island, they could set up an array that could affect the Nirvana tide. This way, they could open up a path or even set up a teleportation array. Of course, this was a huge project. Even if they occupied the Reincarnation Island, it wouldn't be easy to set up an array to open up a path. Night Sorrow cultivated in the Nirvana Ocean. However, he felt that the Nirvana tide wasn't powerful enough. It would be better if he was further away from the heavenly desolate city and out of the array's area of effect. However, before he left, Night Sorrow felt that the Nirvana tide wasn't as effective as the reincarnation storm. It wasn't even as effective as the area where the void purple light snake was. At the thought of the area where the void purple light snake was, Night Sorrow was tempted. In the past, Night Sorrow couldn't go there because the Nirvana tide platform was violent. On the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, one couldn't withstand it without an Emperor realm cultivation, let alone the vast Nirvana Ocean. Even emperors couldn't withstand it. It was a forbidden area. However, Night Sorrow had a chance now. He had the reincarnation domain. The reincarnation attribute was a forbidden attribute and a combination attribute. It surpassed the supreme attribute and suppressed all other attributes except the primordial attribute. After confirming the direction, Night Sorrow flew towards the reincarnation battlefield, or rather, the reincarnation island, with the protection of the reincarnation domain. To be honest, Night Sorrow felt that he hadn't fully explored the reincarnation battlefield. There was still a mystery that hadn't been solved. The previous war at the end of the reincarnation island was a life-and-death battle between the 100 Race Alliance and the demon-winged race. However, Night Sorrow didn't find that kind of aura on the battlefield. He only went to the place where the human emperor and the demon ancestor fought. Logically speaking, this shouldn't be the case. Night Sorrow had asked King Yawu about this. King Yawu said that he, the heavenly desolate city lord, and the Grand Elder were fighting on the periphery. He didn't have the qualifications to come into contact with the core area. Night Sorrow used the Samsara domain to fly. The Nirvana storm was blocked outside of the domain. Other than the consumption, there was no damage. It didn't take long for King Yewu to travel from the reincarnation battlefield to Tianhuang City. However, the reincarnation battlefield had appeared at that time and counteracted the tide of Nirvana. Now that Nirvana's storm had recovered, it took 4 days for Night Sorrow to reach his destination. Right now, Samsara Island was completely different from when Night Sorrow was here. The island was full of storms and whirlpools, and the situation was much worse than before. Night Sorrow was not afraid of this kind of situation. If the situation was bad, it meant that the manifestation of the world's momentum was stronger, making it easier to cultivate. After breaking through the violent Nirvana tide, Night Sorrow landed on Samsara Island. The second time he came, the Night Sorrow felt completely different from the last time. Last time, it was the oppressive aura of deathly stillness. This time, it was the kind of open and violent oppressive aura. Night Sorrow didn't care about this feeling. He planned to find a safe place to lie down and cultivate. After going through so many things, sleeping for 700 years without any news, his family was very worried. Now that the 9 domain clones were at home while the other clone was handling some matters in the celestial realm, the main body could cultivate in peace. As long as he spent some time, Night Sorrow felt that it wouldn't be hard to reach the peak emperor rank. With the strength of a peak emperor, adding on the power of his attributes and absolute arts, Night Sorrow didn't have to worry about anyone plotting against him. B6 Look at Q0 version *upper H, FV. With the cultivation of a peak middle-class emperor rank, Night Sorrow didn't need to be as careful as last time. Even if there was a group of dragon and snake-headed people blocking the way, they wouldn't be able to stop him. Night Sorrow's target was the place where he cultivated last time. He intended to raise his nihility attribute. As for his own attribute, Night Sorrow still liked the nihility attribute the most. The destruction attribute was more domineering, but it didn't have the elegance and tolerance of the nihility attribute. After a few days, Night Sorrow arrived at the Broken Sky Mountain region and directly went to the nihility purple light region. The nihility purple light snake was a supreme attribute, but it couldn't be compared to Night Sorrow's reincarnation attribute. In the past, he needed merit energy to suppress it, but now he didn't need to. Night Sorrow could use his reincarnation domain to suppress it. Passing through the stronghold from last time, Night Sorrow took out the clear sky pagoda. After enlarging it, he sat down and started cultivating. The nihility purple light snake didn't like destruction aura. Since he was releasing destruction aura, the purple light snake wouldn't come close. With the main body's problem solved, Night Sorrow let out a breath of relief. He was afraid that there was no hope in doing anything. With hope, there would be motivation. Misty Dynasty Night Moon Villa. Seeing Night Sorrow's clone sitting in the waterside pavilion drinking tea, Lin Piaomiao was a bit bewildered. This was because Night Sorrow had a smile on his face. This situation wasn't common. Night Sorrow, what are you happy about? Lin Piaomiao sat beside Night Sorrow. I entered the reincarnation island and went to the good place where I had my epiphany last time. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Aren't you a bit too daring? I heard that after the reincarnation battlefield spatial barrier was shattered, it was no longer suitable for living. Why did you go there? That Nirvana storm is very dangerous. Lin Piaomiao glared at Night Sorrow. My reincarnation domain can suppress the Nirvana storm. As for the harsh environment, it is indeed so. You know that the harsher the environment, the stronger the heaven and earth trend. There are spatial whirlpools in the surrounding tens of thousands of miles. There are also groups of void purple light snakes that don't attack me. Therefore, I can cultivate at ease. There's nothing much today. Can you tell me about the cultivation path of peak emperor rank? Night Sorrow explained his situation. Lin Piaomiao nodded. You will come in contact with it sooner or later. I'll tell you about it. First, I'll talk about Emperor's Calamity. Soon after, Lin Piaomiao told Night Sorrow about the 9-star Emperor rank, which was the path after peak Emperor rank. After grasping 90% of the heaven and earth trend, every bit of progress wasn't easy. The later 90% of heaven and earth trend corresponded to the 9 Emperor's Calamity. Emperor's Calamity mainly depended on one's age. For example, with the strength of 3 Emperor's Calamity, if one's lifespan was less than a small era, the Emperor's Calamity wouldn't come of its own accord. Of course, if one activated the heaven and earth trend and triggered the Emperor's Calamity would naturally come. Great Devil King, Fan Tian, and I all have less than a small era of lifespan. However, if we cultivate faster, we can trigger the Emperor's Calamity. After passing the 9 Emperor's Calamity, the heaven and earth trend has been comprehended to perfection. Next is the Emperor's Calamity. Lin Piaomiao said. What's the difference between triggering the 9 Emperor's Calamity on its own accord and on its own accord? Night Sorrow asked. Why would we trigger the 9 Emperor's Calamity on our own accord? Because after passing the 9 Emperor's Calamity, it is easy to continue comprehending the heaven and earth trend. There are almost no bottlenecks. Without passing the 9 Emperor's Calamity, it is extremely difficult to increase one's comprehension of the heaven and earth trend. Lin Piaomiao said. Chapter 1980. That's the truth. However, normal emperors wouldn't initiate the Emperor's Calamity because it's very powerful. Those who aren't strong enough and don't have good survival skills would wait for a small era to pass before the Emperor's Calamity comes. That way, they would have enough time to cultivate. Lin Piaomiao explained to Night Sorrow. I understand. It depends on my situation. Night Sorrow nodded. He felt that the Emperor's Calamity based on his lifespan wasn't suitable for him. Why? Because he would have to face the God's Calamity in the future. He only had 1 era. If anything happens to the main body, just tell me. You can't have any more problems now. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow with worry in her eyes. Alright, I won't be rash. I can't let go of everything now. This is what I realized when the Nirvana flames entered my body. Night Sorrow held Lin Piaomiao's hand and said. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She could understand because Night Sorrow's reluctant gaze was still in the deepest part of her memory. What a pity. When the main body was at home, we still couldn't have children. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and said apologetically. Night Sorrow's wives all had children. Currently, only Lin Piaomiao didn't. She knew that Lin Piaomiao also wanted a child. We are all emperors. The chances of having children are very low. As I said before, our lifespan is long. Now, it's up to you. Lin Piaomiao said. During the 700 years when Night Sorrow was unconscious, Lin Piaomiao was frantically trying to increase her strength. Now that she had passed the Emperor's Calamity, it meant that for the next 2 eras, there wouldn't be any more calamities. I'll be fine. Night Sorrow smiled. I believe you. Right now, you have many ways to improve. Hence, there's no need for you to increase one attribute too much. You should increase the other attributes as well. Only then can the combined reincarnation attribute be effective, Lin Piaomiao said. My time and space attributes combine to form the space-time attribute. Then, life and death attributes can be combined too. That way, I don't need 2 attributes to analyze. Night Sorrow said. I remember that I collected a book left behind by an emperor who combined life and death attributes. Let me see. The new attribute combined life and death attributes is called limitless. It's also called yin and yang. Lin Piaomiao started rummaging through her storage ring. After taking the book, Yi Shang was in no hurry to read it. Instead, he looked at Lin Piaomiao. Why are you looking at me if you're not looking at the book? Lin Piaomiao was a little embarrassed to be stared at by Yi Shang. Because you're prettier than the books, Yi Shang said. You. Why did you become so naughty when you woke up? Lin Piaomiao's face was red. People have different realizations at different times. Why are you in such a good mood today? Lu Qi looked at Night Sorrow with some surprise. This was because the Night Sorrow and his impression wouldn't run over and drink with him directly. I'm in such a good mood today. Little Gu, work hard. One day, the heavenly Tao will merge with your body. Then, you can drink with us. Night Sorrow looked at the Golden Holy Spirit and said. The Golden Holy Spirit nodded at Night Sorrow. After interacting with many people, he understood some words and some things. Seventh Elder, Night Sorrow is very grateful that you are staying in Star Moon City. I also thank you for guiding Little Goo's cultivation all these years. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Seventh Elder. I don't know what's wrong with you today. Let's drink. Lu Qi glanced at Night Sorrow. He knew that Night Sorrow was the human sovereign. However, he felt that respect didn't lie in words. Respect came from the heart. Night Sorrow and Lu Qi drank in Star Moon City. In Tianhuang City, the Grand Elder was a little anxious because Night Sorrow had disappeared. The Grand Elder went to the city wall of Tianhuang City and used his soul power to scan the place where Night Sorrow used to cultivate. He wanted to check on Night Sorrow's situation. However, he was stunned because Night Sorrow had disappeared. After releasing his soul power and checking the surrounding area, the Grand Elder was a little anxious because he couldn't find Night Sorrow's figure. For the human race, anything related to Night Sorrow was no small matter. The Grand Elder first found a fortune teller, but he couldn't divine Night Sorrow's body. The divination wasn't clear. Then, he told Tianhuang City Lord about this. Chapter 1981. Tran Hung shook his head. Don't worry, he might have changed his location. My clone is in the Ethereal Empire's territory. If I go over later, it will be troublesome. Night Sorrow and Lu Qi drank for a while and planned to leave. He took out a black jade box and handed it to Lu Qi. This is what Seventh Elder needs. Night Sorrow has it. Little Goo, don't look at it. This is what Seventh Elder needs. If you need anything, tell me and I will help you find it. I will definitely be stingy. With that, Yi Shang stepped onto the teleportation array. He had come here to give Lu Qi the heavenly Tao flower. Leaving after leaving something behind? What is this? Lu Qi wiped his hands and opened the black jade box. Heavenly Tao flower. He actually got the heavenly Tao flower? Lu Qi sobered up. He had never seen the heavenly Tao flower before, but it didn't mean that he recognized it. After thinking for a while, Lu Qi understood. Night Sorrow didn't know why he got the heavenly Tao flower. He thought that he needed it and sent it over when he heard the news. Although it wasn't for himself, Lu Qi understood that in Night Sorrow's heart, giving him a petal of the heavenly Tao flower was nothing. Little Goo, this is for you. My real body will come over. Take this and ask an alchemy master to refine it into the flesh-bone regenerating pill. When the time comes, you have to drink with me. Lu Qi patted Little Goo's shoulder. After staying in Star Moon City for hundreds of years, Lu Qi and Little Goo had a deep relationship. It was also Lu Qi who had been guiding Little Goo's cultivation. Now that Little Goo was already an imperial emperor, he didn't want to give the heavenly Tao flower to others. Therefore, his real body was already on the way. Night Sorrow received a spiritual message when he stepped out of the Night Moon Villa's teleportation array. Night Sorrow was stunned when he heard the spiritual message. Then, he walked out of the teleportation array and walked towards the Twilight Tea House. Tran Hung was originally in the Ethereal Empire. When he received the news from the Grand Elder, he came to the Night Moon Villa. After searching for a while, he did not find Night Sorrow. He was a little anxious, and just as he was about to go in and ask, Night Sorrow came out of the teleportation array. Seeing Night Sorrow's steady steps, he was relieved. He sent a soul message to Night Sorrow to meet him at the Twilight Tea House. When Night Sorrow went to the Samsara battlefield for the first time, he said that Night Sorrow was back and wanted to invite Night Sorrow for tea. When they arrived at the entrance of the Twilight Tea House, they saw Tran Hung. Night Sorrow cupped his hands to Tran Hung and led Tran Hung into the Moon Pavilion. Why did the City Lord come to the Misty Dynasty? Did something big happen? Night Sorrow asked as he brewed tea. Something big. The human emperor's main body disappeared under our noses. Tran Hung looked at Night Sorrow and said, "It's not a big deal. I just changed a place to cultivate. I'm sorry for making you worry." Night Sorrow said with a smile, "Don't call me Lord. You're the virtuous merit monarch, the human emperor. You're upright and virtuous. Who can call themselves Lord in front of you?" Tran Hung shook his head. "The city lord is the leader of the humans and the 100 races of the celestial realm. Every living being in the celestial realm has to respect him. As for why my main body left, it was because I felt that the Nirvana storm near the heavenly desolation city wasn't strong enough. Therefore, I changed my location. It's safe." Night Sorrow said, "There's danger in the depths of the Nirvana ocean. If you're near the heavenly desolation city, we can take care of you." Tran Hung shook his head. He knew that Night Sorrow was a hard-working person. "I'm not in the depths of the Nirvana ocean, but it's still considered the depths. I went to the reincarnation battlefield." Night Sorrow told Tran Hung about the whereabouts of his main body. There was nothing he could hide from Tran Hung. Reincarnation battlefield, the current reincarnation island? Tran Hung looked at Night Sorrow in astonishment. "Yes, it's now called Reincarnation Island. It's the place where I had my epiphany. The heaven and earth grand momentum there is very strong. It's more suitable for me." Night Sorrow nodded and explained his situation in detail. "Only you would dare and only you would have the guts to go to that place. It's fine as long as you're safe. If there's an emergency, you have to protect yourself first. Then, send a clone to the heavenly desolation city to inform us. We can rush there at any time." Tran Hung took a sip of tea and said, "That's not right. If you can go to the city lord, then the demon-winged clan can go too. We can set up the Great Star Formation on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge and build the heavenly desolation city. The demon-winged clan might use Reincarnation Island to make a fuss." After hearing Tran Hung's words, Night Sorrow, who originally wanted to thank Tran Hung, thought of another problem. Night Sorrow's words made Tran Hung put the teacup back on the table. "It's not impossible. The heavenly desolation island's innate environment is worse than the heavenly desolation city. However, if we don't care about the cost, the situation you mentioned might happen. Then we have to be careful. First of all, the dragon-headed man and snake-headed man in the reincarnation battlefield have disappeared. They weren't taken away by us, so it must be the demon-winged clan. Although Mo Tianji came to the celestial realm, she must have met and communicated with the big figures of the demon-winged clan. With the dragon-headed man and snake-headed man, the demon-winged clan has some natural advantages if they want to attack Reincarnation Island." Night Sorrow said, "When I go back, I will discuss it with your uncle and the Grand Elder in detail. Fortunately, you are from the celestial realm. If you were from the heavenly desolation, we might have been defeated unknowingly." Tran Hung looked at Night Sorrow and felt somewhat lucky. "My conjecture will bring trouble to the city lord and the elders." Night Sorrow knew that his idea was a pressure on the heavenly desolation city and the 100 Races Alliance. If you have a big heart, then there's no trouble. If you are destroyed one day, you won't even know how you were destroyed. Your conjecture is completely possible. The construction cost of the heavenly desolation city is very high because it is a city, a fortress, and we intend to operate it for a long time. However, the demon-winged clan doesn't need to do this at all because they want to attack the celestial realm, not defend it. Therefore, it is enough to build Reincarnation Island into a stronghold." Tran Hung shook his head. He was a little scared. If this matter was not solved, they would not know when they would be attacked in the celestial realm. At least, the existence of the heavenly desolation city would be ineffective. After chatting with Night Sorrow for a while, Tran Hung left the Twilight Tea House and asked Night Sorrow to inform him as soon as possible if something happened. Night Sorrow might not feel anything, but the city lord and the others were anxious. If the demon-winged clan really occupied Reincarnation Island and set up the transmission formation, then they would be in big trouble. On the way back to the Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow was also thinking about this problem. However, he felt that at present, the only thing he could do was to remind them and cultivate hard. If one wanted to have an influence, then one must have a status and the right to speak in the 100 Clans Alliance. To have the right to speak, one must have strength. Of course, Knight Sorrow did not care about the right to speak, nor did he think about it. If he wanted the right to speak, he would not refuse the title of human emperor. In the heavenly desolation city, Tran Hung held a meeting of the elders of the 100 clans and informed King Yawu. When everyone was present, the city lord said that Reincarnation Island was a danger to the celestial realm. If I didn't see Knight Sorrow, I wouldn't have thought of the problem of Reincarnation Island. We must come up with a proper countermeasure. After talking about the crisis, the city lord waved his hand, indicating that others could speak. Yi Shang thought of it? Lu Qi's true body asked. Chapter 1982. Lu Qi's original body went to Star Moon City to retrieve the heavenly Dao flower and gave it to Elder Spirit Tree. He requested Elder Spirit Tree to concoct the flesh-bone regenerating pill and then received a notification. Yes, if he didn't mention it, I wouldn't have thought of it, and neither would you. We thought that the situation on Samsara Island was bad, so we thought that there was no problem. We didn't think that some bad situations could be overcome, said the Lord of Heavenly Wasteland City. The solution to this matter is nothing more than prevention. We have to prevent Samsara Island from becoming a stronghold and base for the demon-winged clan, said Qin Chinjia. Samsara Island means different things to us. It's of little value to us and meaningless to occupy, but to the demon-winged clan, it's a fat piece of meat that can be used to fight against Heavenly Wasteland City, said King Yawu. So, whether the other side has thought of this or not, we have to defend the key point of the war, the Samsara battlefield, said the Lord of Heavenly Wasteland City. The elders of the 100 races finally decided that King Yawu's doppelganger would lead the elders of the 100 races and the soldiers of the First Army to Samsara Island and station there. By the way, everyone knows about the god-slaying squad of Star Moon City, right? They have an average lifespan of more than 800 years, but the lowest level is King, Emperor, and Emperor. The members include the Golden Dragon Clan, the Green Rock Clan, the Nine-Tailed Fox Clan, and so on. I plan to train them with all my strength. What do you think? Said the Grand Elder. The god-slaying squad is very famous now. I've done some research. They are a squad under Knight Sorrow and have grown up with Knight Sorrow. Their individual battle strength aside, the key point is that their ability to cooperate in battle is extremely strong. I don't know how many battles they have fought in the past, but it's a miracle that no one has died, said a Tiger Clan elder. The development trend of the First Army of the Heaven Wasteland Army is actually the model of the God-slaying squad. The First Army is stronger than the God-slaying squad because the soldiers are all Emperor, but in terms of maturity and cooperation, they can't be compared to the First Army. So, I want to train this squad. Let's vote now. After the Grand Elder talked about the advantages of the God-slaying squad, he asked the elders of the 100 races for their opinion. There were no objections, and all of them passed. This was because everyone felt that the god-slaying squad was worth nurturing. After passing the resolution, Lu Qi directly suggested that they bring the god-slaying squad to Samsara Island for training. It was safer for now. After all, King Yawu had brought a group of elders and the First Army with him. This is a good idea. However, we need to ask for Knight Sorrow's opinion first. If he does not say anything, it is hard to say whether the god-slaying team will go or not. Coercive orders are ineffective against Star Moon City. We need to respect his opinion, the Grand Elder said. All the elders of the 100 races nodded. Everyone knew about Knight Sorrow's situation. He was an uncrowned king, an uncrowned human emperor. Even the origin sector venerables of the celestial realm had to give him face, let alone others. The Grand Elder brought Elder Spiritual Tree and Qin Chinjia to the ethereal imperial city. After meeting with Knight Sorrow, he asked for Knight Sorrow's opinion. It is a good idea for the god-slaying squad to go out. It will be a good training for them. However, the problem is that there are still 2 months before Dragon Gold and Dragon Language. It is Tianyu and my sister's wedding. The timing is not too good. However, going out is a big deal. I will talk to them about it, Knight Sorrow said after thinking for a while. There is no hurry. King Yowu will bring a group of elders and the first army. They will be able to stabilize the situation. Our people are not going for construction. They are going to prevent others from using Samsara Island. I will send the god-slaying squad there later, the Grand Elder said. Oh, in that case, I will explain what I am doing and inform my parents. Then I will report to the First Army. Knight Sorrow nodded. He was the First Army's captain. He had to report back when the First Army went out. No need. You, Long Jin, and Tianyu do not need to return to the First Army. You will bring the god-slaying squad there later, the Grand Elder said. He knew that if he did not say anything, Knight Sorrow would definitely put down his work and go with the First Army. Knight Sorrow's only sister's wedding day was coming soon. Thank you, Grand Elder. Knight Sorrow understood that the Grand Elder was taking care of him. Then the Grand Elder said that the 100 Tribes' elders had decided to train the god-slaying squad. Knight Sorrow fell into deep thought. He did not care about himself, but he had to be careful about putting a responsibility on his brothers and sisters. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow raised his head. Grand Elder, I personally don't care what I do for the human race and the 100 Races Alliance. I don't say that I have no regrets, but I will definitely do what I have to do. But the god-slaying squad is different. If they accept the training of the Heavenly Wasteland City, they will only die for the 100 Races Alliance. Therefore, I have to respect their opinion. Actually, you still don't understand the Heavenly Wasteland City and the 100 Races Alliance. The 100 Races Alliance is voluntary. Any member of the 100 Races Alliance who feels that the 100 Races Alliance is not suitable can withdraw. As long as they do not betray the Celestial Realm, the 100 Races Alliance will not treat anyone as an enemy. Of course, when they are in the 100 Races Alliance, they have to obey the Elders Guild's orders. When they are in the Heavenly Wasteland Army, they have to obey military orders. This is the rule, the Grand Elder said earnestly. That's right. The 100 Races Alliance doesn't demand anything. Supporting the god-slaying team is also completely voluntary. This support isn't an excuse to ask the god-slaying team to do anything. You have to believe us, Elder Spirit Tree said. Grand Elder, Spiritual Tree Elder, Knight Sorrow is very sorry. I shouldn't have thought so little of others. It's just that the brothers of the god-slaying squad are too important to me. They have no regrets following me into battle. I have to be responsible for them. Forgive Knight Sorrow for speaking rudely. Knight Sorrow said somewhat apologetically. He understood what it meant to be respected. The three in front of him were people of virtue and prestige. I understand you very well. This is what a qualified commander should do. It's also the reason why the soldiers under your command are so strong. It's because they trust you unconditionally. If it were me, I would also trust you. Qin Qinjie said. Knight Sorrow understands. I will tell the god-slaying squad now, Knight Sorrow said as he stood up. Go. The Grand Elder smiled and nodded. He was very pleased. This was because Knight Sorrow was a person with a sense of responsibility. No matter what the situation is outside, he has his own persistence. This is rare. The first time I saw him, I felt that he would definitely have a bright future. I just didn't expect him to rise so quickly. He is already the human emperor of the 100 Races Alliance, the Spiritual Tree Elder said somewhat emotionally. Chapter 1983. Alright, that's a good idea. The City Lord already had some plans. Now, we can slowly push them forward. The Grand Elder nodded. What plans does the City Lord have? Qin Qinjie asked. You all know that I, the City Lord, and King Yowu have already lived through 8 eras. We don't have much lifespan left, so we've been thinking about the successor. Before Knight Sorrow appeared, we already had some plans. The Grand Elder didn't hide the original plan from the Spirit Tree Sect Elder and Qin Xinjie. Before Night Sorrow appeared, the divine capital only had one young city lord, Fen Tian. However, he wasn't strong enough and needed a powerful Great Elder. There were two candidates, Pu Luo and Lu Qi. However, Pu Luo was too casual and wasn't suitable. Hence, Lu Qi was chosen. When Lu Qi arrived at the desolate city, the disciplined sect elder needed a strong candidate. The successor of the disciplined sect elder had to be stable and righteous. Hence, Lin Piaomiao was chosen. The successor of the Grand Elder was decided to be the Great Demon King. The Grand Elder didn't think it was suitable because the Great Demon King had a murderous nature. However, the city lord of the desolate city made the decision. What did he say? In troubled times, severe punishments were used. He had to be tough. #permanent asterisk. Read novels for free. The city lord of the divine capital, the Grand Elder, and the disciplined sect elder all have their successors. What about the city lord of the desolate city? Why isn't there any arrangement? The Spirit Tree Sect Elder asked. The city lord said that he had his own arrangements. Hence, he didn't decide on a candidate. Now that the human sovereign is born, he will have to shoulder the responsibility slowly. This commander is necessary. The Grand Elder made his decision. Night Sorrow gathered the god-slaying team and told them what the Grand Elder had told him. Captain, you can arrange it as you see fit. You don't have to tell us about such things. Long Jean said. The others nodded. I brought you guys out of the 9-domain world. You guys have achieved something and are qualified to decide your own path. Hence, there are some things that I still need you guys to decide. Night Sorrow said. Captain, before we met you, we were just ordinary warriors of the eastern Xian region. Everything we have today was given to us by Captain. That's why we'll follow you until the world is stable and no one dares to go against us, Xueling said. Captain and I are brothers in life and death. Captain can make the decision. If we make the decision ourselves, we don't know when we'll end up in a ditch, Ho Jian said with a smile. Alright, let me make some arrangements. Long Jin, Dragon Language, Tianyu, and Nianxiao's wedding will be held in 2 months' time. After their wedding, our god-slaying squad will fight again. Take a good rest during this period. Don't forget to prepare your gifts. I've already prepared mine, haha. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Big brother, I've already applied to the family's council of elders to resign from the position of emperor. The next emperor will be chosen between Qin Yan and Yujun. What do you think? After they finished talking about the god-slaying squad, Yin Yan began to talk about family matters. Qin Yan and Yujun? I don't care about that, Night Sorrow said. Brother 13, is this a big matter? Tianyu asked. What's so big about it? Either Qin Yan or Yujun can manage the Night Moon Empire without a problem. Besides, with Captain around, even if the Night Moon doesn't have an emperor, they won't be able to overturn the heavens, said Long Jin. What? Captain Long, are you saying that I, the former emperor, am just a decoration? Yin Yan glanced at Long Jin with some dissatisfaction. Haha. That's not what I meant. Long Jin laughed and explained. That's how it is. As long as my big brother is around, the 9 regions world will be stable and the Night Moon Empire will be stable. Yin Yan pulled on Night Sorrow's arm. Of Luo, we'll inform all our friends about their wedding. We'll accept gifts. This time, our Yi family will accept gifts. However, we'll use the gifts as dowry, Night Sorrow said to Datura. Alright. This wedding will definitely be grand and glorious. Datura knew what Night Sorrow meant. Brother 13, will I be treated like this when I get married? Yi Mei asked. Haha. Of course. However, you'll have to consider getting married first, Night Sorrow said to Yi Mei. After making arrangements for the god-slaying squad, Night Sorrow invited the Grand Elder, Elder Ling Shu, and Qin Xinjie to the Twilight Tea House for tea. The Twilight Tea House's tea ceremony and taste naturally received high praise from Elder Lingshu and Qin Xinjie. In the beginning, there were people who questioned the price of the Twilight Tea House and said that it was a bad influence on the celestial realm. What nonsense! This is a milestone for human civilization, Qin Xinjie said. Night Sorrow, your appearance is a cleansing of the bad cultivators in the celestial realm. Yu Kuan, Bai Chuan, and the others have all fallen. This is a good thing, the Grand Elder said. Night Sorrow only smiled. He had only dealt with those who were not pleasing to the eye. Since the first army was going to fight, Night Sorrow had to go back and inform them. Night Sorrow followed the Grand Elder, Qin Xinjie, and Elder Lingshu back to the Tianhuang city. Since it was late, Night Sorrow returned to his mansion first. He meditated in the mansion and studied the fusion of the life attribute and the death attribute. He cultivated for 2 days. 2 days later, Night Sorrow arrived at the encampment of the First Army. Seeing Night Sorrow's arrival, the people of the First Army quickly gathered. Greetings, Commander. The first group of people shouted as they knocked on their breastplates. What Commander? Night Sorrow was confused. Commander, you don't know? Yesterday, the Council of Elders issued an order to promote the captain to a commander, Dong said. Why should I be a commander? I just need to lead the First Army. I don't care about the other armies. I'll tell the Grand Elder about it later. Night Sorrow shook his head. He did not want to be a commander if he was too busy. It's not what you think. After the captain is promoted to a commander, he will only be in charge of the First Army and the God-slaying team, Long Jin's doppelganger in the First Army said. That's good. Long Jin, Tianyu, your doppelganger should go back to the ethereal imperial city first. You'll be the second batch to go to the battle. The wedding is more important, Night Sorrow said. Okay. Long Jin and Tianyu did not refuse because the wedding was a big deal. Brothers of the First Army, you may already know the mission. We'll set off for the Samsara Island soon. I won't go with you this time. I'll meet you later. Dong, you discuss the details of the team with the other captains. I want everyone to be alive, Night Sorrow said to Dong. Yes, sir. Dong and the other captains knocked on their breastplates. If there's an emergency, break my messaging crystal. Night Sorrow threw a soul messaging crystal to Dong. If I break it, the captain won't be able to come to us, Dong said with a smile. Chapter 1984. Has Commander arrived? Flower without words looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Yes, but if the situation is stable, wait for my doppelganger to arrive, Night Sorrow said to Dong. Yes, Commander. Don't worry. Dong nodded. He admired Night Sorrow very much because he saw the changes in the First Army after Night Sorrow's arrival. That's enough. Get ready. Yi Shan left the First Army and went straight to the teleportation array. Night Sorrow didn't think it was necessary to ask the Grand Elder about the First Army and the God-slaying team. It didn't matter who the commander or captain was. Long Jin and Tianyu didn't leave directly. They led the sergeants of the First Army to Shen-Du City and invited everyone to a feast before returning to the Ethereal Dynasty. After Night Sorrow returned to the Night Moon Villa, he went into seclusion in the attic. He planned to infer the attributes of life and death and combine them. In this way, he wouldn't have to worry about comprehending the general trend of heaven and earth. Night Sorrow deduced the time acceleration in the Haotian godly pagoda. 2 months was a short time in the real world, but 2 months was equivalent to more than 10 years in the real world. The wedding of Long Jin, Dragon Language, Tianyu and Nianxiao was arranged by Datura and Lin Piaomiao. The 3 world groups of the chaotic realm had been informed that the wedding of Night Sorrow's sister and brother was a big event. Night Sorrow didn't intend to keep a low profile when he asked Datura to inform them. He didn't care about his reputation, but he wanted to make the wedding of his sister and brother grand. After the news was spread, the leaders of the three world groups of the chaotic realm had all arrived. The VIP hotels in the Star Moon City were full of guests. Lin Piaomiao rented a few more inns in the Ethereal Empire. Only then was it enough. As for the Ethereal Empire's VIP tower, it was also full because many guests from the Heaven Realm had arrived. 5D Yongf hashtag long time free W look small. No matter what guests came, they did not see Night Sorrow. No one despised Night Sorrow for being too arrogant. Those who understood him knew that he was a cultivation maniac. At this time, no one was worried that the devil-winged clan would come to cause trouble. Now that the Ethereal Imperial City and Star Moon City were filled with experts, whoever came to cause trouble at this time would definitely be looking for trouble. Because they had to receive guests, as the bride's parents, Yi Wuyo and Yu Qing had both come to Star Moon City to receive guests. They were both staying in Night Sorrow's mansion. After settling the guests, Lin Piaomiao and Datura returned to the mansion. This is really tiring. After sitting down, Datura stretched his neck. Thank you for your hard work for Nianxiao, Yu Qing said. Mother, Nianxiao is our only sister. King Youwu also smiled. There are only 3 days left. If he doesn't come out, I wonder if he will have any effect. Destruction and space-time attributes. Night Sorrow's achievements are already very high. If he has the limitless attribute in his hands, his reincarnation attribute will easily have great achievements. The Grand Elder thought for a moment and said. Not just the reincarnation attribute. He also has the void attribute. He can study the primal attribute. However, he was attacked by the Nirvana flame, so he grasped the reincarnation attribute first. The other direction might be more suitable for him. King Youwu corrected the Grand Elder's words. Seeing that the day had arrived, Lin Piaomiao arrived at the 9-domain world and shouted outside the Heaven Sealing Hall. Night Sorrow's 9-domain doppelganger in the Heaven Sealing Hall opened his eyes. He was either in deep seclusion or in deduction. Therefore, he was aware of the situation. Flashing out of the Heaven Sealing Hall, Night Sorrow smiled at Lin Piaomiao. It's almost time. The day after tomorrow. Martial Uncle, Grand Elder, Golden Dragon King, and Old Ancestor Green Rock have all appeared. It's not appropriate for you to not appear. Lin Piaomiao said. Alright, the research is almost done. Next, it's time for my original body to fuse. This seclusion ended just in time. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and took a big gulp. You finished researching? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. The deduction results are fine. I'll know when my original body fuses later. You can go ahead and do your work. My doppelganger in the Night Moon Villa has come out. Night Sorrow said to Lin Piaomiao. Chapter 1985. After Night Sorrow's clone in Night Moon Mountain Villa came out of seclusion, he washed up, changed into a clean robe, and went to the guest room in Star Moon Mountain Villa. King Youwu, Grand Elder, Golden Dragon King, Green Rock Old Ancestor, and Shirue were all in Night Moon Mountain Villa's guest room. They didn't like to socialize, so the mountain villa was relatively quiet. Seniors, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come to Night Sorrow's little brother and sister's wedding. Please don't mind it, said Night Sorrow. King Youwu and Grand Elder nodded. Night Sorrow, Long Jean is the young master of our Golden Dragon clan, but the wedding was arranged by your family. This king is very grateful. If there's anything in the future, just let Long Jean talk to me. The Golden Dragon King looked at Night Sorrow and expressed his attitude. Lord Golden Dragon King, you're too polite. Long Jean and I are brothers. It's not a big deal to arrange his wedding, said Night Sorrow. It's the same for me. Tianyu has been with you since he was young, and you took care of him. In less than 1,000 years, he has achieved so much. The Green Rock clan will remember this in our hearts. We will be eternal allies with the 9-domain world. Green Rock Old Ancestor also expressed his attitude. How should I address him? Night Sorrow looked at King Yawu and asked. Just call him Old Rock. Old Rock's attainments in space and time are very deep. If you have time, ask him for advice. King Yawu said. I understand. Old Rock is too serious. I don't have any blood brothers, but Tianyu and Long Jin are no different from my blood brothers. I'm very happy to arrange their wedding. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Green Rock Old Ancestor. Night Sorrow and Green Rock Old Ancestor didn't mention Guan Yu's Heaven's Cliff because it wasn't a big deal now. Then Night Sorrow bowed to Chirue. Haha. You don't have to be so courteous with me. Lin Yu calls you big brother, so I'm considered your uncle. You have to come. Otherwise, when you go back, you won't be able to keep your beard and it will be pulled out. Chirue said with a smile. Everyone was chatting casually. No one was bickering or putting on airs. Night Sorrow, you've been in seclusion all this time. How's the research on Wuji's attribute going? The Grand Elder brought up a topic he was more concerned about. My doppelganger has been deducing all this time. My main body has just begun to fuse with it. As for whether it will succeed or not, it's still unknown, Night Sorrow said. Don't worry. If it doesn't work, we'll just find the reason and get rid of it, King Yawu said. I understand. Don't worry, Martial Uncle. Night Sorrow nodded. The Xianluan clan is here as well. Don't take what happened last time to heart. Harmony is very important. To be honest, no one would dare to bully you now, said King Yawu. I understand. I'll pay them a visit later. Night Sorrow knew what King Yawu meant. He hoped that he would be able to form more good karma. Just as they were talking, Night Sorrow stood up and excused himself. Then, he left the guest room and rushed towards the entrance of Night Moon Villa. His face was full of surprise. Because he saw Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei was wearing a white silk dress with golden hair accessories on her head. Aunt Fei. Night Sorrow bowed when he saw Wu Lingfei. Night Sorrow, what are you doing? Wu Lingfei reached out and helped Night Sorrow up. Seniors, please come in. Night Sorrow cupped his hands to the women behind Wu Lingfei. He knew that they were the experts of the Ice Phoenix clan. Thank you, Region Lord Knight. The experts of the Ice Phoenix clan cupped their hands to Night Sorrow in return. Night Sorrow brought them to the loft where he was resting. Aunt Fei, the guest rooms are full now. This is Night Sorrow's usual resting place. Aunt Fei and the others, please don't mind. Night Sorrow, why are you so distant from Aunt Fei? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. No, it's just that Aunt Fei is the empress of the Ice Phoenix clan now. I can't neglect her. Also, please forgive me. When Aunt Fei ascended the throne, Night Sorrow was in the reincarnation battlefield. Night Sorrow said. When Aunt Fei ascended the throne, the Humanitarian League and the Yi clan went. Aunt Fei was very happy. Later, when she heard that something happened to you, Aunt Fei was very sad. She returned to the 9 regions world once, but she didn't see you. Wu Lingfei turned her head and wiped the corners of her eyes. Aunt Fei, don't you think I'm fine now? Night Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that when he was unconscious, the operation of the Emperor-grade teleportation array was limited. However, it didn't affect Wu Lingfei because he was familiar with her aura, even if her cultivation was higher than his at the time. Yes, I'm very good. The child with core condensation cultivation back then is now an emperor, and a human emperor at that. Wu Lingfei's words were a little emotional. Thank you for your guidance and care along the way, Auntie Fei. Oh right, the gift for Auntie Fei. I originally planned to forge a long sword with human merit, but that Pu Luo directly forged it into a golden brick. Auntie Fei can just play with it. Thinking about the gift, Yi Shang felt embarrassed. Human Dao golden brick is very famous now. Aunt Fei wants to join the Humanitarian League. Is there a problem? Wu Lingfei said with a smile. If the Ice Phoenix clan has no problem, I naturally have no problem. The other elders of the Humanitarian League also welcome Aunt Fei. Night Sorrow said. Third elder, is there a problem with this seat joining the Humanitarian League? Wu Lingfei turned around and looked at one of the white-haired women who had been standing there. Lord Golden Phoenix, there is no problem with doing anything. As long as there is no threat to your safety, the elders will not ask. The Humanitarian League upholds the principle of punishing evil and promoting good. It is a force worthy of respect. The white-haired woman said. Then it's fine. Wu Lingfei nodded. After arranging for the elders of the Ice Phoenix clan to rest, Night Sorrow took Wu Lingfei to the Twilight Tea House. This time, Night Sorrow didn't sit in the Moon Pavilion. Instead, he chose the Snow Pavilion in the Wind, Flower, Snow, and Moon Pavilion. Permanent 6Z free, Phi CJ little underscore say after the tea was brewed, Night Sorrow poured a cup for Wu Lingfei. Aunt Fei, I see that your relationship with the elders is not very good. Did you have a bad time in the Ice Phoenix clan? Night Sorrow asked. That year, something happened to you. I wanted to return to the 9 Regions world, but they didn't agree. I hate them. Wu Lingfei said. Aunt Fei, they did it for your own good. I'm fine now, so don't mind them. Night Sorrow said. They shouldn't have forced their will on me. Mother only passed down the throne. I haven't seen her in all these years. Wu Lingfei explained her situation. At this time, in the Night Moon Villa, the women of the Ice Phoenix clan were chatting. Whether Lord Imperial Concubine's attitude can change depends on this trip. Back then, we were a bit reckless and didn't care about her feelings. Fortunately, Night Sorrow woke up. Otherwise, the problem would be very troublesome. The woman called Third Elder by Wu Lingfei said. Chapter 1986. That's right. If something really happened to Night Sorrow, the relationship between Imperial Concubine and our Elder Guild would be irreconcilable. Fortunately, the situation isn't too bad. The Third Elder heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the harmonious relationship between Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow. After Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei drank tea, they returned to the Night Moon Villa. Concubine Wu Lingfei brought several elders from the Council of Elders to visit King Yewu and the others. Yi Shang also went to visit the guests who had come to attend the wedding. King Yewu and the others were very polite when they saw Wu Lingfei. In the eyes of the world, the Ice Phoenix clan wasn't as famous as the Blood Scale clan or as domineering as the dragons. However, their strength was indeed shocking because there were many experts in the Ice Phoenix clan. After exchanging a few words, Wu Lingfei left after having a few elders accompany King Yewu and the others. She was going to Star Moon City, where there were people she cared about and people who cared about her. For example, the God-slaying squad was currently in Star Moon City. Firstly, the wedding would be held in Star Moon City. Secondly, the God-slaying squad would be in Star Moon City to maintain order. King Yewu, Grand Elder, please help me persuade Imperial Concubine. Because of Night Sorrow, Imperial Concubine is now dissatisfied with our Elder Guild, the Ice Phoenix clan's Third Elder said. Why do you say that, Elder Yu? The Grand Elder asked, puzzled. The Ice Phoenix clan's Third Elder's name was Huang Yu. When something happened to Night Sorrow, Imperial Concubine received the news and was about to leave the Ice Phoenix clan. At that time, it was a crucial period for her cultivation. The Elder Guild didn't agree and sent her to the clan to cultivate. After that, she didn't take the initiative to communicate with us and caused a rift between us. Huang Yu explained the cause of the matter. That's what you should do. She was born in the 9 Regions world and has a very good relationship with Night Sorrow. They are closer than family. Do you know that she was poisoned by the evil dragon flame and that Night Sorrow didn't put in a lot of effort? You should always consider the feelings of others. The Grand Elder glanced at Huang Yu. Although he was a little angry, the Grand Elder still agreed to Huang Yu's request. Jun Xuanji and Zhu Jiuyun also returned to Star Moon City. Their relationship with Yin Yanxiao was very good. So they naturally had to attend Yi Nianxiao's wedding. Knight's sorrow was very busy. There were too many guests. He had to meet those he knew and those he didn't know. At the border of Nirvana Ocean, Mo Tianji came out of seclusion in a canyon that was on the same line as Heaven Desolate City. Peak Emperor rank. After 700 years of recuperation and seclusion, Mo Tianji stepped into Peak Emperor rank. After coming out of seclusion, Mo Tianji went to see Long Zhe. Have the Black Dragon spies in the human race found any news? Did you manage to infiltrate Star Moon City? They didn't infiltrate Star Moon City. The teleportation array to Star Moon City is heavily guarded. If they aren't familiar with it, they won't be able to teleport. However, the woman that Heavenly Concubine is looking for has appeared. She is currently in Star Moon City. Long Zhe said. Then we won't wait any longer. Organize the information and make preparations to attack Star Moon City. Mo Tianji clenched her fists tightly, producing cracking sounds. We can't. Many experts have gathered in Star Moon City. According to our spies, Divine Capital City's King Yawu, Heaven Desolate City's Grand Elder, Green Rock Old Ancestor, Golden Dragon King, and Blood Qilin King are all in Ethereal Empire's territory. Attacking them now is suicide. Long Zhe shook his head and said. Currently, black dragons couldn't walk in front of others. However, black dragons still had some human subordinates. Therefore, they could still scout for information. Mo Tianji looked at Long Zhe, her eyes gleaming. Why? What are those old fellows doing in Ethereal Empire's territory? Night Sorrow's younger sister is holding a wedding in Star Moon City. Therefore, we can't make a move recently. Long Zhe said. Then wait. Pay close attention to that woman. She can't disappear from our sight. It's very important. We can't make any mistakes. Mo Tianji instructed. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. Long Zhe nodded. We're still monitoring her closely. Are those stubborn old fellows willing to work for our Demon Wing clan now? Mo Tianji looked at the other side of the canyon. No. My father has tried to persuade them many times. Long Zhe said. Your father still doesn't want to kill them? Mo Tianji asked with a frown. Yes. There's no room for discussion. Lord Heavenly Concubine, it's best that you don't tell my father about this. Long Zhe nodded. Mo Tianji snorted coldly, but didn't continue the topic. She knew that because of certain matters, a portion of the Black Dragon race was willing to work for the Demon Wing race because of their bloodline. However, it was impossible for them to slaughter their own race and elders. Night Sorrow picked up his grandpa, grandma, and the others. While he was talking to his grandpa and uncle, he was actually listening to the bragging of the Yu family. At that moment, Pu Luo arrived. After excusing himself from his grandpa and grandma, Night Sorrow and Pu Luo went outside. Alliance Master, we caught a spy. He blew himself up before we could get anything out of him. This matter should be related to the Black Dragons. Pu Luo said. After lying dormant for so many years, it's probably time for them to make a move. There can't be only one spy. Mo Tianji can still bribe some spies over the years.